Capital Hoops here with new DeMatha head coach, Mike Jones. Mike, first off, congratulations. You've done a lot of great things at St. Agnes, built a big-time program over there. But coming to DeMatha is, one of the top jobs in the country, most people would say. So first off, congratulations.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it. New opportunity, man. So I'm so excited about this opportunity.
Tell us, who is Mike Jones? Tell me where you grew up. I know you have a background in playing basketball and coaching in the NBA, but tell everyone a little bit about who Mike Jones is.
Mike Jones? That sounds like the rap song. But no, I grew up in Oklahoma City. Was the Oklahoma City Player of the Year. But just really, Mike Jones is just a super hard worker, someone who's loyal, someone who's loving, caring, and passionate about my craft of coaching.
Tell me about your basketball playing. I know you played collegiate basketball, and then you played some professional basketball. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I played collegiately at TCU, Texas Christian University, for Billy Tubbs, a Hall of Fame coach, legendary coach. Started kind of like the run and gun style, up-tempo style. It was great playing for him. The atmosphere was crazy. It was just freedom, but we defended, but we were known for like outscoring our teams. From there, I was fortunate enough to play on the USA team for Rick Majerus, who also passed away, but RIP to Rick Majerus. But that was a great experience as well, just learning from him, learning, more X's and O's and different strategies and all that good stuff. So that was a wonderful experience. And then in 1998 was my senior year. Ended up going overseas, playing 11 years in Europe. I played in Turkey. I played for one of the better teams in Turkey for Fenerbahce, which is a EuroLeague team. I played for 5 years in France. Played in China. I played 1 year with Yao Ming. So I just had, I played a year with Richard Dumas and a half a season with Steve Wojciechowski. So I mean, it was just a wonderful experience, just being able to play a game that I truly love and care about.
At what point did you think that coaching would be something in your future? Or did you have a passion to pursue that? Yes,
I knew I was going to be a coach in college. So I would always ask Coach Tubbs questions. I would always draw up little plays. Sometimes at timeouts in practice, I would, say, let me draw a setup to try to see if we can score. And that carried over to when I played overseas. I had a lot of Yugoslavian coaches, a few Russian coaches, some really good French coaches. So I just really try to pick and choose, the style, different styles that I like from various coaches, and just try to implement it in my coaching style today. So it was, I knew I was going to be a coach early on in my career.
And where was your first coaching stop?
My first coaching stop was at a private school in Oklahoma City, Holland Hall. It was a college preparatory school. I was a JV head coach with one of my buddies that was a varsity head coach, and I just kind of cut my teeth, becoming a JV coach. So I really literally just worked up the ranks. And again, every job that I had, I felt like, I was just going to come in and just work my hardest, whether it was, the JV level, starting at a school that, guys were just learning how to play. I just really wanted to pour my passion and soul into my players.
How did you end up in the DMV?
My wife. So my wife, she's a military brat. So she was a captain in the Air Force, was working here at Andrews Air Force Base. We met in Texas. So we just kind of, were dating. I was still playing overseas, so I would come up here, over in the summer times, and I'd go back to Texas. But she ended up getting a job at the Pentagon, and then we just kind of called this home. We ended up getting married up here.
So how long have you called the DMV home?
I got here in 2009, 2010, so I've been here for a while now. Okay. I really like it here too. It's a nice area.
Okay, and tell me about your coaching stops in the DMV, since 2000 or since Oklahoma City.
Okay, so I started off at Perry Street Preparatory School. It's a charter school right off South Dakota in the TAFO building. There, I was able to pour into young men, be a mentor to a lot of the inner city kids in DC. I was actually the dean of discipline there, which was, a unique experience for me because I was able to help kids try to stay in school and really cultivate a strong relationship with those guys there, with the boys and girls there. And then from there, I went to the NBA. For 2 years, I worked there from 2014 to 2016. Started off in the video room. and then worked my way up. Halfway during my second year, our staff got fired. The head coach got fired, and then the assistant coaches got promoted, and then they promoted me to the bench. So the last 5 months in the NBA, I was assistant coach. So that was a good experience. And then from there, I ended up going to St. Stephen and St. Agnes.
And tell us quickly about how you. I know you were an assistant there for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
And just the kind of.
Yeah, so I came in with a really good staff. Ron Ginyard was the head coach there. We had Stu Wilson, who is an AD now, and then we had Kenny Barton, who was coaching at Northwest High School. And, we just, came in and just tried to. Well, I came into that situation where, they were trying to win games, and Coach Ginyard ended up getting the admissions job there at St. Stephen and St. Agnes. So he couldn't be the head coach anymore. And I learned a lot from him, actually. And then from that point, everyone put their name in the hat to become the head coach for the next year, the following year, and I ended up getting the head coach there. And it's been history since then.
We know you've had a lot of success there, but take us back to the early days, like your first year. How were you guys? How was the program? How was the team? How was the personnel?
Yeah. So, the first years, it was, we had a solid personnel. Actually, we had a really good personnel. They were just young and kind of just trying to figure it out, and they had to adjust from Coach Ginyard's style of play to my style of play. So it was a learning curve, and me, I like to throw a lot of my players to really see, if they can really pick up at what we're trying to do and what we're trying to implement. So we really just try to get in tip-top shape, really try to defend at a high level. And I think, over times, and you've seen us play over times, those guys just really started to understand how hard they need to play every possession, every time on the court. We always say play as hard as you can for as long as you can. And we really just try to defend at a high level. And then on the offensive end, we just try to play with pace, play with space, and just, turn down good shots for better shots, for great shots.
When do you feel like the program really got moving at St. Stephen's? Because something's happened in the last few years where you guys went from being kind of an average IAC team to, a true powerhouse, not only in that league, but in the DMV. What happened?
I think just, really a mindset shift. So guys really start believing that they can play at the level and play at the level of the WCAC schools. So we had guys like Charles Thompson, Xavier Lipscomb, Jamal, Jared Cross, Andre Screen. We had this, before them, Jerry White. So we had a ton of players that just really didn't know how to truly believe when they stepped on the court. And I think, my coaching staff and I did a really good job of getting those guys to believe in themselves, one, and then proving it when they step on the court. So we always talk about just the mindset and approaching the game and really trying to be the best version of yourself when you're on the court and off the court as well.
So here we are now. St. Stephen's is officially behind you. Talk about this process of becoming the DeMatha coach. I know there were a lot of people who applied for the job. Right. I think everyone knows there were kind of three finalists, and now you're the guy. Talk about this month-long process. Yeah,
it was a grueling process. So basically, you hear a lot of chatter, but anyone who knows me knows I have blinders on. So when I set my mind to do something, it's a lot of naysayers, what have you, but I just really try to focus on what I can do, and I think my team takes shape of how I feel, because I feel like, I'm just going to put my best foot forward and be the best version of myself in those interviews, and it came out really well. So, I just really, at the end of the day, I really just tried to just lock in and focus on what I needed to do to get the job,
So in addition to being the basketball coach at DeMatha, what other, you'll be a teacher there?
Yeah, I'll be a teacher. I'm actually a physical education teacher at St. Stephen and St. Agnes, and I will be doing that as well at DeMatha, and also teaching health.
Okay. And when does everything really start? You have to finish out the year at St. Stephen, St. Agnes, so next school year.
Yeah, officially from a teaching standpoint, it's going to start the next school year, but from a coaching standpoint, it started today. I'm reaching out to the parents. I'm gonna try to reach out to as many players as I can tonight, and it's just a process, man. I'm gonna take it one day at a time and just really try to put together something really, really special. I plan to really start maybe in the next 2 weeks, figure out the practice plan and how we're gonna do, getting ready for the summer league, getting ready for the live period, getting guys acclimated to me and my style, my coaching staff and getting acclimated to the young players. So I'm excited, really, really excited about the opportunity to coach at DeMatha, to be a part of this wonderful tradition.
Speaking of staff, it's obviously very important for every head coach. You
Right.
had a staff at St. Stephen's that I know you were very close with. Seems like you were a very tight group. Where are you at with your staff?
Yeah, we're a very, very tight group. We, have dinner together, share laughs together, go to each other's birthdays and parties and everything. But so we're still like trying to figure out logistically what's going to work best for all of the guys. And also I wouldn't mind having, one or two guys that's currently on DeMatha staff as well. Just to, I feel that it's very important to make that transition as comfortable as possible for the players from a standpoint of coaches who have been there, last year. So I understand that, I value that. But, most importantly, I'm looking forward to, just trying to figure out, my personnel and how I can, find out what this team really needs from an offensive standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, and get them to learn me.
Speaking of personnel, you're probably going to have some things to do.
Right.
Obviously, you're at a big national school now where bringing transfers in may be a little easier than it was at St. Stephen's, St. Agnes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about recruiting players and trying to fill out the best roster you possibly can?
Yeah, I think it's the same way. Again, my coaching staff and I, we did a great job of kind of understanding the lay of the land, kind of understanding the players around here. But we know the math is at a whole nother level, so which will give us an opportunity to get, maybe a 4 or 5 star type of kid. So just understanding, where the best players are, really building a relationship with the decision makers, who's making the decision to try to figure out what their next step is as far as like education wise in the high school level. But I feel like, if anyone has seen us play in the last 3 or 4 years, our style of play is conducive, and it translates over to college. One of the few greatest compliments that I received from college coaches is they're saying our guys are ready to play at the next level right away. So when our guys leave us, I think they'll be ready to play. So I think that's very important, and I think the transparency that we have, the parents will appreciate that too, and the players as well.
Speaking of style of play, what is your style of play? Do you have some sort of unique identity, or how do you think of your programs, your teams, etc.?
I think I like to think of us as being fundamentally sound. We always work in the fundamentals, but from a defensive standpoint, we're up in you, making you really work for everything. And from an offensive standpoint, we're up and down, but we can still execute at the same time. So we push it, we play with pace, but we also can understand when to run a set and how to run a set and read all the screens from the set and all that good stuff.
Another big thing that comes with the DeMatha job is, I guess you would call it like alumni relations. Mm-hmm. Obviously, DeMatha has a list of professionals and players who have achieved great things in the basketball level. What do you think about that? Kind of being the new face of the program, and you're going to have to meet a lot of guys that maybe you don't know, but that's...
Right. No, I think I'm an easygoing person. I accept the challenge. I know it's going to be challenging at times, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to build a strong relationship with the alumni. Maybe have open runs. I know, in the past, in years past, those guys would come in and shoot, so I want to make that available for them. Again, I just want to just reach out, make myself available, and do anything I can to just forge that strong relationship with the alumni.
One thing I forgot to ask you about recruiting. When you were at St. Stephen's, St. Agnes, 5th-year players were permitted. Reclass players were permitted. Obviously, in the WCAC, that's
right.
That's against the rules. Do you foresee kind of your recruiting, the way you recruit, being different? That you can't really go after certain players that maybe you were allowed to before?
No, I don't see that. I'm just trying to get through the WCAC bylaws and understand them clearly. But no, I don't think that. I would really like to start from 9th grade and just work my way up 9, 10, 11, 12, and get them in early so they can understand what it really takes from the older guys, so they can kind of set the tone. And then when those freshmen become juniors and seniors, they can set the tone for the incoming freshmen. I think that's the kind of success we had, with the exception of the COVID year when we had to bring in a couple transfers. But in the past at St. Stephen's, we just kind of had a process where some of the older guys would set the tone for the younger guys, pull those guys up, and then those guys would then set the tone for the younger guys. So it's kind of like a ongoing effect where those guys are really, kind of paying it forward, so to speak.
Mike, another thing I want to ask you about, you guys at St. Stephen's had a lot of success against DeMatha. I think it was a few years ago you beat them
4 times, yeah.
4 times.
Yeah. In the summer league.
Right. I think it was, Summer League, Team Camp, DMV Live, something like that?
Yeah.
Why were you so successful against DeMatha? And do you think you kind of maybe got some attention from some DeMatha people when you kind of went on that run?
I think our success during that time, we had a senior-led team and the guys who really, really believed in themselves and believed what we were trying to do as a team. So we always say no excuses, just adjustments. So we always just found a way to make the adjustments. Against that very good team, I think Hunter Dickinson was on that team. Earl, the point guard. I mean, they had a really, really good team. So we just went in there and just played our hearts out. But I think over time, guys really started to believe that, hey, man, we have something special here. So then they just started playing with that little swag, a little chip on their shoulder, and just letting people know, like, we are, something to be reckoned with.
DeMatha is PG County. You've been coaching in Virginia. Do you see any, I know you live in Prince George's County, so you have some familiarity with kind of PG basketball, but what are your thoughts on coming up, from Virginia to PG County for coaching?
Yeah, I don't look at it like that because people who know me know I coached my son's team. So I coached in PG County. I coached my son when he was 8 all the way to 10. He's now 12. But during those years, PG County was great. Just the energy around basketball, the parents being so involved in the game and yelling at the refs and all that stuff. And it was just a great energy. And that's what really I love about PG County. It's one of those counties is just the energy and the basketball is just raw and is just real, and I really appreciate about it.
The last thing I want to ask you about is Mike Jones was the coach at DeMatha, obviously, for 19, 20 years. Now you, Mike Jones, are here. I'm sure you've probably gotten texts already with people confusing the two of you. And right. If you haven't, they're coming.
It's been done already.
It's weird. I mean, it's strange. Just talk about the dynamic of, you obviously Coach Strickland was there for a little bit under a year between you guys, but Mike Jones to Mike Jones it's almost fictional.
It's crazy. So Mike Jones, as everyone knows, it's a very, very common name.
Yeah.
And what Mike Jones did was amazing. I mean, he had great teams. They won a lot of WCAC championships. Coach Wooten before him, I think he won 33. So, the history is there. But the name Mike Jones, hopefully I can make, Mike Jones at Virginia Tech proud. I know, we just going, my staff and I, we just going to come in and work really hard and just try to make a fun, exciting brand of basketball that everyone would be proud of in the DMV.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Any parting words for Stagnation as you take the helm here?
Yeah, sure. Stagnation, I'm so excited about this opportunity. Like I said, we're going to play hard on the defensive end. We're going to be flying around on the offensive end and just making the right basketball play, hopefully, every single time.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing what you have in store.
I appreciate it.